I think what is abundantly clear is that governments are recognizing the shift in public opinion that's taking place. You're from CNN from the US, you will note there are candidates running for the midterm elections who are openly saying they will no longer take APAC money, being aware that it is no longer something that is a political asset because of the shift in public opinion, because ordinary Americans, good Americans with good hearts, who saw those images of those children being slaughtered, were so moved by it that they have decided to take a principled position against genocide. This is what I meant when I said it's not about me. What they are upset about is not what Sami Hamdi says. They're upset that Americans are waking up, that Americans are moving, that Americans are mobilizing, and there is now a hysterical push in multiple Western capitals by an extremist lobby to silence voices of truth because people are listening. So my message to Western governors is embrace this shift in public opinion. Embrace that truth and channel that into a victory like we saw with Mamdani in New York, who decided, as opposed to other candidates, not to talk about Israel or what's gone, but to talk about New York itself. America first, not Israel first. Britain first, not Israel first. That's my message to the Western governments. I think that one of the things that I admire about the UK, and indeed in the US, is that for all of the accusations that were thrown, the rule of law still stands. Twice they went to the federal courts in the US to try to push an accusation, and twice the federal court said it is unsubstantiated. Even in the UK here, despite the efforts of an extremist lobby to silence and restrict the freedom of speech of ordinary British citizens, of ordinary Americans, the courts continue to stand in their way because of the rule of law. I have faith in the rule of law. I had faith in the federal judges. I had faith in the court system, and my faith was rewarded. I am exonerated, and I'm here in London, and I'm hoping to play seven-a-side football on Sunday.
Maybe take one more question, perhaps. Is there anyone?
Are you taking legal action against your supporters?
I am considering it, thinking about it, discussing with the lawyers. But what I will say is, one of the reasons for the hesitation is that I am aware that it was an extremist group that tried to come after me, but that there were cool heads in the State Department, there were cool heads in the federal court system who realized it was a botched operation, and they swiftly tried to repair it and make amends, which is what allowed me to depart the US without any charge and with the permission to return to the US at any time as I wish. In respect of those cooler minds, I would rather celebrate those who protected the freedom of speech of the Americans, and I wish to declare here that the extremists were defeated in this case. I won this case. The extremists failed to silence my voice. They failed to remove my freedom of speech. America stood with me against the extremist Israeli lobby. Americans stood alongside me. You saw the American media, you saw the American community, you saw ordinary Americans on the street, you saw ordinary Americans on social media. They came out for me because they believed that we shared this message of truth with one another. It is in this context that I am not entirely sure I will sue. Rather, what I will say is that I pray to Allah Almighty that Allah allows these cooler heads to prevail over these extremists, and I hope that Allah saves America from these extreme groups that are launching an onslaught and a barrage of attacks on the freedoms of ordinary Americans and the freedoms of ordinary Brits. I and the American citizens and the British citizens stand together against hatred, stand together against extremism, and I know that the Americans don't stand with the extremists, they stand with me, and that's why I'm before you here today.